Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at the homestead, and I had to get out of my shop and do a little chores around the house here. And one of the chores was that I wanted to get done today is I got a problem with my sprinkler timer up here. All of a sudden, I lost power. I've lost power to this outlet. I've checked the miscellaneous outlets around that are on the circuit. All of them have power. So the problem lies in this outlet down here that these are connected to. So I wanted to just change this outlet out or find this problem or solve this issue, and that was the start of today's project. But when I got over here, I realized that I have my barbecue, I've got my cooktop, I got a smoker, and a whole bunch of ugly trash and stuff that's sitting here that's been collecting for a long time. So I thought, you know what, now's the time to do something with this. So I'm going to take all this stuff out of here, take this shelf down, build a new shelf, raise it up a little bit, get the flat top grill underneath there, clean things up a little bit, and make it look a little bit nicer. After all, I'm always about organization, and that's what I want to get done. So let's get started on today's project. All right, so the first thing I'm doing is starting to clear everything out in this area right here. And do you ever get into a project and realize that maybe this is not the day for you, or that you should forget about what you're doing and do something different? Well, this is about to be one of those days. So once I got everything out of the way, I started taking off the shelf and the shelf that I had there and the tabletop. Now, this is something that I built about 10 years ago on a Saturday afternoon just to hold the stuff for my barbecue. And that thing's been there for that long, but it's definitely time to start changing things out. So like I said, I checked all the outlets in the area, so I come to find out that there was power going to it, but there was a problem with the outlet, so I just switched out this GFI, and that was easy enough. Got everything put back in, and everything was as good as new. I happen to have some leftover 2-inch angle iron by 1/8 inch thick. This is leftover from that barbecue build project I did a few weeks ago, and this is what I think I'm going to use to build the frame. Just going to go around that little area for the shelf, so let's get started. Alright, so I'm starting to cut the angle iron out now. I've been getting a lot of people reminding me that that's not really the way to cut angle iron in the cutoff saw, and I appreciate all your comments, and I'm learning from all of that. Once I got everything all cut out, I'm starting to put things together here. Now you can see I'm using the notched method here for my 90-degree angles, rather than a 45. And I like doing that with the angle iron. At least for me, it gives you a little bit of flexibility there. Well, once I got everything all cut out and positioned in, I just went around and started tacking everything in. Once I got everything all tacked in, it's time to start welding everything out. And you can see that I'm really firing the welds in here. I mean, it is just like every corner, inside, outside, and there's no reason for all that, but I did it anyway. But all right, so at some point about now where I realized that this is not going the way that I was hoping it would go. Everything started to go downhill from here. I kept adding more and more and welding more and more and grinding more and more. And one thing that I need to remind you guys, when you're doing fabrication like this, one thing you need to do is continually check for square, especially on something like this. When you're welding something square or rectangular and you're putting a lot of heat and a lot of weld in this, you got to continuously check to be sure everything is square every time you do a weld, because inevitably bad things are going to start to happen, like it's starting to right here. You can see it's starting to warp already, and yet I hadn't realized it at this point. I was so excited about, putting down these welds and welding. Everything seemed to be going good, and I didn't even think about the possibility of distortion and warpage and all the things that actually happened here. But now I continually to forge forward. I'm determined. I want to get this project done, get it complete, regardless of what is happening. But you know what? At some point in time, you just have to bail out. You just have to consider it a complete failure and start over. But it's so hard for me to do that because that's just not my style. I very rarely have a failure. Everything that I do most of the time turns out pretty good. But this definitely is going downhill from the moment I started this project to the very end. If you guys are doing a project like this, there's one thing I could say is, don't weld continuous like this. Disperse your heat a little bit more evenly. Maybe from one end to the other end to the other end, and not so much heat at one time. Maybe that's for sure going to help it warp less like it did. But you know what? I'm going to regroup. There's one way to solve this problem, and that's to build another one. And that's what I'm going to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for more.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.